that super didn't work. So I switched OBS to studio mode so that way I could make a couple tweaks real quick, and that just messed up my DSK. Let's try that one more time. Here we go. That's better. Cool. Hello, everybody. How are you all doing today? I went live earlier on accident. I was trying to schedule this stream, and YouTube decided that as soon as I started OBS, it's like, hey, you're going to go live right now. And I'm like, okay, that's not what I want. Tim, you're figuring out what you want for lunch? Dude, I just had cereal for lunch. That was good. I needed that. I love your honesty in product reviews. Thank you. Companies don't necessarily. But I try and I keep it real. I'm like, if I buy something off of somebody's recommendation, it better be good. And so if I'm going to give something my recommendation, it better be good. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with it. Got a few things going on today. Got some, well, business-wise, I have some emails to respond to. But I have a ton of photos to edit. I'm kind of stuck here working at home. I shouldn't say stuck. I want to be here. I'm here with my mom. If you guys didn't see, I put out a video the other day where kind of went over where I've been. My mom had 2 strokes and then just got done with brain surgery, so she's currently at home resting. She's been having friends visit and stuff, keeping her company, but having somebody here to take out the dog and handle day-to-day things and just make sure that mom is able to recover and not be having to deal with working around the house or apartment, I guess. I'm so used to saying house. It's like this is the first time I've lived in an apartment, so I keep saying my house when I mean apartment. I don't know. Networking this place has been fun. I wanted to pull up something here and show you guys. I'm going to probably be doing a video about 3D printing and IT because I've used some 3D printed parts. Excuse me. Wait. Okay. Guess we weren't good. I've been using a lot of 3D printing in order to, fix little problems that I've had. Firstly, here, I can show you a teaser for one of those products. I don't have my U6 Pro on hand. It's currently being used in my closet. But when Ubiquiti updated the APAC Pro to the U6 Pro, they took away the pass-through Ethernet jack on it. And that pass-through jack is one of the main reasons why I love the APAC Pro so much. Because whether it's the network line that goes down to my garage, I needed an access point in the laundry room to handle handoffs. That way I wouldn't drop a FaceTime call when going from, the upstairs down the 2 flights of stairs through basically a concrete tunnel into my garage. So in that chain of Ethernet cables, it's 2 50-foot cables linked together with a coupler keystone. I just swapped out that coupler keystone for the APAC Pro, and that allowed me to just put an access point there. Something that you get... The Virginia video, having an access point connected in before their TV. That's been super useful. But since they removed the pass-through port on the U6 Pro, I needed some form of Wi-Fi 6 access point that had pass-through ports. So I wanted to turn the in-wall access points into some form of desktop mount unit or desktop freestanding thing. And here's what I came up with. I haven't painted it or done much finishing work to it, but it's basically a little box that holds the in-wall screws into, and it holds a keystone, and you can run a short little jumper patch cable to the back of the access point. That way you're not having to lay it face down on the table. You can actually have it sitting upright, and you still have access to that jack. So this is just a pass-through keystone, and then I have a short little Ubiquiti patch cable. It's actually the one that comes with the what is it? The Flex Switch utility kit. That little 6-inch cable. I don't use that kit because I think it's awful. So I just took that cable and used it in this, so that way I can have a very low profile connection. That way I can keep the footprint of this guy down pretty good. But yeah, sits on a desk or whatever. Plug your keystone or plug your network jack in there, and then you have a 4-port managed switch. So I see this being like super useful, say behind a TV. Wi-Fi access point for your living room. Plus, then you've got a security camera maybe with the PoE output port. Your TV, like an Apple TV or something, a game console, whatever. You can have those things on the IoT network, your main LAN, the security VLAN, all that stuff. So, gonna be having probably some sort of video talking about all of the stuff I've 3D printed. The other thing was this little 2-port keystone rack mount thing. I've actually stolen the keystone mount off of this model a number of times. It's the keystone model that I'm using for this as well. This part, I don't remember who made it on Thingiverse, but when I make this video, I'll link to the original designer of this in that video. But yeah, this keystone mount is really good. I found somebody on Thingiverse made a regular keystone mount, just a freestanding standalone keystone mount, and it didn't work. You couldn't plug a keystone into it actually. So that was really annoying. So I've just been stealing the keystone mount off of this model. I'm going to turn down the exposure on my camera because it's way too bright right now. Oh, that's not what I want. Can I change exposure? Nope, I can't. Streaming. Why did that do... Okay, I don't know. I also printed these, this under desk rack mount. So it's a little... The idea would be this mounts to the underside of a desk or a table. It's all stringy. And then you have a 2U rack mount. So whether you're putting a switch, an audio interface, something like that under a desk. These, again, I downloaded off of Thingiverse. This model I made. And here's the most recent thing I've done. If I come in here, this is a... Okay, some explaining. So the AT&T fiber box that goes on the wall, basically their ONT, that mounts to the wall. And so for my apartment, I've just been running cables underneath my door, and I didn't want to do that anymore. I have a keystone mount. I have a keystone wall plate set up. Oh, I'm hearing delays of my voice. I have a keystone wall plate set up, and that works. That works well. So coming out behind the ONT, I just cut a little piece in the plastic to run a cable out. I wanted a spacer that would hold the ONT off the wall, give me keystone mounts because I already have... Hang on, I can come over here. I've already set up a keystone wall plate. So I wanted keystones to be able to just come through into my room, so I built out this little part. It has 3 keystones. You mount the AT&T ONT on top of it, and it just kind of goes between. I'll make all these models available. I don't know whether I'm going to have to make a Thingiverse account or what I'm going to have to do to get these to people, but I don't know. I figured if I already put in the work to make them, might as well make them useful to other people as well. Start marketing it, sell. I need a 3D printer. Dude, 3D printers are awesome. They're a ton of maintenance, though, and annoyance. I have mine set up in my closet, and that's also where my little network cube is. And so whenever I'm printing, I just did a print that was One half of it was 27 hours. The other half was 24 hours. Yeah, my closet was just baking. I had to turn my fan and put that in the closet. It was ridiculous. But that's what I have, at least to talk about right now. What have you guys been up to? Let's talk. Do you recommend any particular printers? In terms of 3D printers, basically any of the Alti makers. I used the Dremel one for a little bit. I don't remember which version of the Dremel printer, but I used one of those for a while. That was pretty good. I would highly recommend getting something with an auto leveling bed. I know that's just been the biggest frustration and issue that I've had with prints on my Ender 3 Pro. I hate this printer. It's terrible. I mean, it's a good printer. It's a good starter printer, especially for the price. But, the stuff that I'm doing, I'm trying to get a lot of detail out of. And that's not really what that printer's designed for. That printer's designed more so as like an entry printer. And I really need something a little bit beefier. So maybe skip the Ender 3 and get something a little bit beefier. But yeah, basically any of the Actually, let's look at 3D printers. We're gonna go on a 3D printer adventure, because I don't actually know what's on the market right now. Alti Maker. Oh wow, the Alti Makers are a heck of a lot more expensive than I remember. Never mind. Let's not recommend that. The Prusas I've heard are really good. Actually, I've used one of them, but only once, so I can't really comment on it too good. Or I can't comment on it too accurately, I guess. Well, Prusa's website is deciding to be mean right now, so we're just gonna ignore that. Okay, what else? All right, so I had to go out of town and film a quinceañera. That's basically I guess significance-wise, it's similar to a Jewish bar mitzvah, but it's a 15-year-old Latina girl's coming-of-age party or whatever. Keep in mind, I've never been to one of these before, and I planned the whole shoot for it and had it all, talked with the parents, got everything. I was brought into this project over a year ago, and so I didn't necessarily know 100% what to expect, because again, I've never been to one of these. Yeah, we were filming for 17 hours. I originally thought we would be filming for like 6, but no, it was 17 hours. That was fun. We started filming at 9 a.m. and didn't get done until 2:30 a.m. So that was super fun. It was actually a ton of fun. No, the father asked what I thought, and I just turned and looked at him and I just go, white people can't party. 'Cause that was, it was incredible. It was super fun. And honestly, editing the photos for it and I haven't even touched the video stuff yet. Well, I have. I've started translating it all because everybody was speaking Spanish the entire time, and my Spanish is about as rudimentary as it gets. So I cut a lot of the footage together, a lot of the spoken word stuff, and uploaded it to YouTube to hopefully have auto captions help me out there, and then I can just translate that. So that should help, but I've been going through and editing all of the photos for the past, 3.5 weeks. It's taken so long, but I'm getting some really, really good results, and I found this cool piece of software, and this isn't sponsored or paid for. They have no idea who I am, and I know nothing besides how much it took out of my bank account to pay for it, but I figured I would show you guys the software because it's kind of cool. All right, let me pull up an image that needs work. Where's a better one? Okay, so here's a good example image. This one is pretty good, doesn't have a ton of work that needs to be done on it. I need to clean up some of these black splotches. My cursor is not being captured. There we go. And it's just a little soft. It's a little bit out of focus. It's not super noticeable, but... Oh, hang on. Forgot I got to get all this annoyance set up. This program is heavily GPU intensive, and so I have the cube set up as kind of a, hey, this graphics card doesn't have anything to do with my live stream or anything, so that way it's kind of separated. And I'm just sharing the drive that all the photos are on over the network. Oh, where is this? Hold, please. I apologize. Output needs work. Okay. Great. I'm going to pull this into... This is Topaz Labs AI Sharpen. And if I bring in this photo here... I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and we'll just get to the point where we want to focus it. This thing is kind of magic in certain areas. In some ways, it's very... It has a number of issues, because, again, it's AI. It's not an artist going in there by hand and fixing things. It is all automated and guesswork. But, I mean, as you can see right here, this is a lot sharper and more crisp than... this guy. Now if I do split view and we zoom out a little bit, I'll be able to drag it around, but yeah, this guy uses up a ton of the GPU. The AI Sharpen, for some reason, when I run it inside of when I run it on the cube and I don't have an actual screen connected when I'm using remote desktop, it just hammers the CPU. But on any other computer, it uses like 80% of the GPU, which is fantastic, because, you know, why am I paying for a fancy GPU if it's not going to be doing anything? All right, let's see what people are saying. It's amazing what we can print these days. I know 6 numbers in Spanish and 2 words. Bet you keep pretty busy. Yes. Unrelated, your videos help me steer into Ubiquity over 2 years ago. It has been fun learning about networking to make this meet my needs. Thank you for delivering easy to understand videos. You're very welcome. Very welcome, Douglas. That's how I got started in all this stuff. AT&T's default router sucked, so I'm like, I can do it better, and that's how this all started. You may be very interested in the new series that I'm going to be working on. I'm hoping to start shooting it this Friday. Basically, we're going to be building a home lab on a super budget. And by super budget, I mean a very, very small budget. We're going to try and save as much money as possible while also buying hardware that will last with you for a long time. So we're going to be building out a PF Box router, looking at switches and what to look for in purchasing a switch, especially for a budget use. Then we're going to be building out a storage server, so we'll be running TrueNAS and doing some cool stuff like that, figuring out what hard drives to buy, all that stuff, and then building an application server to be used as an NVR, a unified controller host, anything like that. Although for this series, I think I'm going to use the Omada access points because they have the built-in controller, and I want to showcase a lot of that flexibility, especially with the home lab, because, you know, it's something that grows with you. It's something that you start building. You may not necessarily build it all out all at once, but yeah, this is hoping to be a good little series on the channel. All right, let's take a look at what this thing has. So if we do the before and the after, I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see this with YouTube's compression, but it's in front of me, it's a night and day difference. I am going to crank up noise suppression a little bit because in the finger here, I'm getting a lot of noise. But yeah, this tool has been absolutely instrumental. I took a number of photos in low light because most of the party stuff was in... Basically, to any camera that's not a Sony, it would have been unusable. My Canons, they had a number of issues in the low light, and so these two programs, the Sharpen for refocusing and the denoise program, they have been absolutely instrumental. They are the only reason the photos have turned out anywhere close to as good. So yeah, I've been super impressed, super happy with that. Home storage server and NVR, just what I'm looking for. Perfect. Well, you will enjoy video 2 in that series. First video we're going to be doing is the router and switch stuff. Then we're going to be in the second video doing the storage server. Third video we're going to do the NVR and application server, and I may use a fourth video to kind of tie everything together because I want the storage server video to be able to like stand alone as its own video. You don't have to have watched everything else in this series in order to do that. And so if I'm plugging in settings and going back and forth between pieces of hardware that's not everybody will have set up yet, because again, with this being a standalone video, I want somebody who's just interested in building a storage server to be able to watch it and not be like, well, my router's not pfSense and he's plugging in all of these details and I'm not using this other XYZ thing. Yeah, so I might have to do a fourth video for actually using all the settings. Yeah, it's funny where it gets sharp, or where we're already a little bit sharp, it then takes that and kind of goes wild with it. So what I tend to do is I would keep these settings: preserve source format, export 1, there we go, stage 2, export. That is image 25 off of my checklist. Done. 25. Fix, well, technically it's not done yet. We still have to fix the splotches in the dress. Wait, that was 26. Now let's take a look at image 25. Because I have to do that one as well. Oh wait, did it not finish exporting? No, it did not finish exporting. That's fun. All right, let's come back into here. Oh, I was not showing the screen at all. Cool, love that. All right, once this pops up here, I'm bound to enjoy all the series. If not all of it will apply to me. Hopefully that's the goal. That's the goal. I wanna hopefully have videos that people can enjoy, even if it's not something that they need. I don't know. It's kind of about having what gap do I fill in YouTube, because I mean, if you go look at Chris from Crosstalk, I mean, he does a lot of really great comparison testing. Cody from Mac Telecom Networks, he's awesome for when a new piece of gear comes out and you want to find out the information about it. What is the stuff I need to know? He's fantastic. So I can't just come in here and do the same thing. That's not any sort of gap to be filled. So I kind of have weird, crazy ideas for projects, and I just try and brute force technology to do what I want it to do. So that's kind of where I try and fill in. So yeah, having stuff that's enjoyable to watch. I come up with crazy ideas, like just the farthest thing out there that you can possibly think of. And it's not helpful for the situation at hand, but a month from now, I'll run into something where I'll use part of said crazy idea to fix my problem. So it's not a waste of time or anything. Also, you can kind of see here what it's doing, where it's adding a ton of noise into her hand. But it's not really fixing anything else. Therefore, I don't think I'm going to keep this on. I'm going to just quit out. Close without saving. Perfect. And yeah, so that was Topaz Sharpen, which I thought was really cool. It's the only way I've been able to get nearly as many good results. Like this photo before, this photo was a complete noisy mess. And you can still see remnants of noise, but it turns more into like blurry grain than noise, versus like his face was completely pixelated and taken over. It was awful. And so I found this tool. I thought it was really, really cool, and it worked. So I'm like, hey, I want to show it. Yeah, it was like Honey found me a discount coupon code, so I think I paid like $130 for their denoise program and their sharpening program. I also have one that is supposed to upscale images for you really well. I've had some interesting results with that. If it's a photo that has a face in it and it tries to upscale it, it looks like crap. If it's not a face and it's like, I don't know, here, it's the Logitech G gaming logo. I just got a new mouse, so I have this available. If I were to try and like upscale something like this, then it would work really well. But yeah, no, so these little AI tools have been absolutely instrumental in getting these photos to turn out nearly as well. And I am about a quarter way done through the set of photos. The second entire half, I have about a quarter more to work on here. And then once I get to the second half of photos, it'll go a lot faster because those were all taken in the same place. So I can pretty much build out the settings one time and apply it to everything. But yeah, this was definitely interesting. Yeah. In terms of networking projects, whatever, cool channel. Always explore, try creating new stuff from pre-existing building blocks. You have a healthy mindset. Thank you very much. Oh, my camera just had a healthy little focus breathe. So what's going on, guys? Shaq is always thinking of something. Okay, here you go. It's a PTZ camera on a mic stand. I'm building a security system that can hunt. So, I have a client right now that they have an issue. It's an auto repair shop. And they have had so many issues with their current security system. Their cameras. They're basically unusable. So we're building them a new system. The issue is it's such a big space and people break in from a number of areas. And, well, they don't have somebody that's doing security all the time. So a PTZ camera is much more designed for an active security approach where you have somebody controlling it, whatever, being able to zoom in and focus. But these cameras have an AI that can like follow you around, but it won't like, I want it to patrol, so it's just kind of moving around, and then when it sees something, it'll like zoom in and focus in on it. I can't do that. It doesn't work like that out of the box. So what I'm trying to do is have multiple security cameras. So we'll have cameras on either end of the building, the left side, the right side, and then the PTZ in the center. And so based off of different motion zones that the other two cameras have, that will tell the PTZ camera where to go, because I can do that in Blue Iris. And then once that camera's zoomed in, its AI will take over and kind of follow the person around. That's the idea. And I thought about just doing 2 cameras, doing the PTZ and then the Reolink Duo on top. That would be easy, but no, that doesn't provide enough coverage. Hang on, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Had to sneeze. Figured that would not be good on-camera content. Can you hook up a bazooka to fire? I wanted to set up a big set of speakers to play gunshot sound effects. But there is one issue with that, and that is the fact that they have a nighttime drop-off available. So for the people that are dropping off their car late at night, that would not be a pleasant experience to hear gunshots and then full system lighting up, going crazy. We're going to be integrating it with with an alarm system as well. So motion detectors that they already have, which those things work great. Floodlights. It's one of those, if this system sees you, you're going to know. You're going to know. The spotlight's going to turn on that camera. It's going to like zoom in and aim at you. Imagine you break into someplace and it lights up like, I don't know, Coachella or something. So we're having a ton of floodlights in the parking lot, and then you see like 2 spotlights turn on. And not only do they turn on, but they come and aim directly at you. I hope that would be terrifying enough for somebody to just make them run. So that's what I'm hoping, is that this will be a system that should hopefully deter people from breaking in further. But I'm also going to try and integrate it so that way the owner will be able to get a notification when something happens. They'll get a notification on the phone that'll have like a still shot of what the system thought was motion or what triggered it, and then it'll have 2 options: a yes, this is a break-in, or disregard. Yeah, so I want to have that disregard option working. When I was messing around with the presence detection stuff for my house, I was messing around with DeepStack for doing like AI face recognition or just facial detection to know if it's a person. And it can do it based off of arms and other limbs, and it's pretty cool, but I don't know how much I would trust it for a business. Last thing I would want is a security camera to not record because some sort of AI said, I don't know if that's a person or not. Like, I want to make sure I still have those recordings. And, yeah, so I may have the AI do some stuff like just flagging the recordings. It may not have anything to do with actually whether it records or not. It may just be a flag or preserve this clip, don't delete it. So if it's the cameras will always be recording in their low-res, I guess, preview stream, their substream. That will always be recorded. Then on motion detection, the system will record the high-resolution feeds. These cameras or the PTZs will go hone in on whatever, triggered it. And then the AI will be responsible for tagging the clip. So if there is confirmed a person, tag this clip to not be deleted. And then if there's not a tag, basically, then the footage will get, overwritten as time goes on, as more storage is needed. That's the idea. I don't know how well it's going to work. I'm still playing around with stuff here at my apartment to try and figure it all out. I have one of these PTZs mounted on my balcony, which my dad's motorcycle, he parked it right out front. It was parked there for like 2 days in one of the parking spaces. Somebody keyed it. Oh yeah, they went to town on the gas tank, the nice red paint job. It's like, my dad's not a dick with his motorcycle. I hate, on TikTok or like YouTube, whatever, you'll see like little clips where it's like somebody with a really loud, obnoxious car, and it's like some Karen shouting at them like, it's 7 a.m., my kids are trying to sleep, and you're here with your super loud car. And then it's this guy being like, haha, you can't do anything about it. It's like, it's one thing to stand up to a Karen. It's another thing when you're the one being a dick, annoying everybody with your loud-ass car. Shut up, put your muffler back on, and go away. It's like, my dad's not a dick with his motorcycle. It mostly lives in the garage. It's not loud. It's not crazy. It's just a bike. I don't even hear it. It's parked right outside my window, and I don't even hear it when I'm, like, in bed. So, it's fine. It's clearly just somebody being an idiot. They keyed his bike, and so now I have the PTZ camera aimed at the same spot, and so I'm going to have my dad bring the bike back, and I don't know how, but I want to antagonize the person to do it again. Because, if we can catch that person, that would be great. That'd be great. I wanted to just start breaking kneecaps, but apparently, like, people have rights to their kneecaps and not having them broken. I'm like, come on, that's annoying. Agreed. Common decency needs to make a comeback. People have no respect anymore for anything. It's like, I will say, okay, I had to walk away from a video shoot. I had a lady we were doing a video shoot. This is back when my video production company was like in its prime. My company is not in its prime right now. It was in its prime when I was a sophomore in high school because I had a number of employees, whatever, but they were all older than me. And so they went away to college. And so that's when everything just kind of shut down in terms of Miller Media. But, no, I had my organizer, Kaylin. She, planned out the shoot, got, the whole team put together. And the lady running the event just would not stop yelling at me about how absolutely sexist it was that my camera team was made up of entirely men. And so I said, well, here, this is the woman that put that team together. And Kaylin and that lady, they had a bit of a screaming match. In terms of screaming match, I mean, she was screaming. Kaylin kept her cool. I don't know how she did that. I would have lost it. But no, she basically just said, pull out. We're leaving. We're not doing that. So it's like, I understand. Like, some people can just be awful. But at the same time, put your muffler on your freaking car. It's not cool. It's not fun. You're just an annoying prick. The virtue signaling brigade. Oh, yes. Judges need to be more strict. We need more Judge Judy out there. She don't take the idiots BS. There's always someone to complain about. Yeah. No, it's not fun. I had to deal with a guy at one of the churches that I work at. Keep in mind, this is when I was volunteering there. So, the guy who was part of the video team, or the videographer team, not the broadcast team. Like, I was on the broadcast team. But no, we were using cinema cameras for an event because we were looking at buying cinema cameras and replacing our broadcast cameras with them. And so the guy from the video team kind of headed up that whole trial run. And so I was running a camera on a big slider. Not a problem, except for the slider was above my head. And so my hands are already up pretty high. I couldn't reach the zoom control on the lens without ducking underneath without like going underneath the whole thing, grabbing the zoom controller. Like, it was annoying. So we have, on-camera zoom controls. So I asked him, and I was like, hey, can I throw on one of the zoom controllers that we already have? And he goes, you are the most ungrateful human I have ever, or that has ever volunteered here, or whatever. It's like, I'm sorry. I asked to use an assistive device that we already own to overcome a physical limitation of my body. Keep in mind, this guy's shorter than me. To overcome a physical limitation of my body so I can do a better job of working for you for free. Yeah, I told somebody a little bit higher up about that, there was a little meeting, and the guy tried to play it off as if he was just joking, and I just go, I just looked at him and I just go, I explained the whole thing. I said, I asked to use an assistive device that we already own to overcome a physical limitation of my body so I can do a better job of working for you for free. So you can take your ungrateful attitude and shitty personality and shove them up your ass. That's what I said to the guy. He hasn't talked to me in a year and a half. I think I did good. He had the Napoleon complex. Yeah, no, I wanted to use an on-camera zoom, on-handle zoom rocker, so that way I didn't have to climb underneath the slider track to reach up the lens. This way I can do a nice zoom dolly shot, like, because, you know, zoom dolly shots look sweet. Throw a little bit of a pan in there. Yeah. Oh, hello, Kira. How are you doing? But yeah, no, so that was fun. That was fun. I like that my webcam has decided it doesn't want to focus. I don't actually know if I have control over it. Do I have control over that? Can I do that? We're going to see this. Properties. Configure video. We're going to throw it way out of whack and tell it to auto. Did I do it? Look, Ma, I did it. I focused my camera. Yeah. I'm hating my life down here at Miss You. Tim, I bet we'd get along. Dude, I just don't take crap from anyone. Yeah, I will tell somebody. It's gotten me in trouble before. The fact that, like, I will basically express exactly how I feel. There is not a question of, does Jack like me or not? Or, I just tell you exactly how I feel. I'm like, no, I hate you. I don't put up with BS from people. And oh my gosh, I especially don't put up with it from companies. I had one company reach out to me. They asked me to review one of their chargers. It was just a simple USB, like, battery bank charger or whatever. Like a $40, nothing crazy. And they're like, oh, we really like your content. We can tell this would be great for you and your audience. And I'm like, I want to be able to quote this. I want to be able to quote this. Okay, here's what I said. I'm sorry. 1, you have clearly never watched my channel because I've never made a video about any charging device. My channel is about networking. 2, Googling your company gives no results of any value. 3, you don't even have a domain name. I mean, come on, your email is still at gmail.com. Do you need business and IT consulting? Because that's what I do. I charge $95 an hour. Thank you, Jack. It's like, come on. Yeah, hey, hang on. What is it? Yeah, it's an MF. You plug it into the wall and it's an Apple Watch charger. Yeah, here, I guess I can show the product. Yeah, this is what they wanted to send me. This is what they wanted me to do a dedicated, like, review video on. That and, oh my gosh, security camera companies. I have worked with Reolink. I'm in the process of working with them. Anki, and VZoom. And they all three, Reolink, I mean, I use Reolink products all the time. They're what I actually deploy for clients. They're what I actually set up for my customers. I love their products. They work. Matt, go make your bed. No, I'm a grown-ass man. I don't have to make my bed if I don't want to. Haha. Eat it, Mom. But no, each one of those camera manufacturers brought something special. The VZoom stuff had a really good AI stuff, especially at a low price. That was awesome. And then the Anki stuff, they were claiming outdoor night vision. So I'm like, or full color outdoor night vision. And I'm like, There's no way that's going to work well. And I was right. But yeah, no, I mean, if it's a Chinese security camera manufacturer, I guarantee you they've emailed me at least 3 times. I wish I was joking. That and somebody wanted me to review a space heater. They wanted me to review an oscillating desk space heater. They said, we think this will be great for your audience. I'm like, my audience is IT nerds who live in server rooms. They don't want it any hotter. You know, you have some noise-canceling headphones, earplugs, a fan, you know, a massage chair or something like that. That's what they would like. That's what they would like. They just want to have another cup of coffee so that way they can answer a ton of support tickets because of stupid people not understanding how a printer works. They don't want a space heater, especially not an oscillating desk space heater. What's the best access point for an apartment to use with the PS4? Kira, you should know better than to ask me that. What's the square footage? Where's the access point going to be placed? How far away? How many walls are there going to be in between said access point and the PlayStation? Do you have a way to hardwire the PlayStation? What are you going to run as your controller for the access point? Do you need one that can operate without a controller? Because then you're looking at something from TP-Link and not Ubiquiti, because Ubiquiti standalone stuff isn't that great. Just text me. Review an AC unit. Oh my gosh, I should. What I wanted to do was, one of the early design revisions for the house included having a barn-dominium. So it was going to be a 3-car garage, or a 2-car garage, and then a 1-car garage with a staircase in between those that went up to like a 2-bedroom like apartment type thing. That was we could hopefully have that built pretty fast, live on our property, and then while the house is being built, you know, have some place to stay. We ended up moving into this apartment anyway. Well, I moved into this apartment because my parents were going to get in an apartment, but I didn't want to deal with with having 2 stressed out parents in an apartment for a number of months waiting for a house to get built. So I'm like, nah, I'm moving out on my own. And so I got a 3-bedroom. And I got the 3-bedroom because I really wanted the extra space. I could have an office. I could have my bedroom be my bedroom. I could have an office. And I could have like a place to film videos, as well as, you know, my living room and whatever else. The garage would be really nice. Keep my car and everything. Keep the gear that I need to load into my car very easily accessible. So big cases, all that stuff. And then when I went to move in, my parents are like, hey, well, you have a 3-bedroom. Can we just stay with you? And I'm just like, yes, mother. Yes, of course you can. That's exactly what I intended. Please, I would love it if you would come and live with me. It's okay. They put up with me for however many years. It's the least I can do is give them my roof. So, yeah, that's the history of this place. Oh, that's fun. I just got out of work on one thing. I was doing a 3D print job for a guy, and I was going to print him an accessory piece. He said he does not need it. That is good, because I have not started on it yet. To be fair, I was given this project this morning, so it's not like I haven't started on something that's a week old. But yeah, no. This has been fun, but the idea that I had was for this barn-dominium, there was going to be the overhang roof. So the roof was going to start slanting down. I wanted to have a thing where I could like slot in my computer to the wall, and it would just be like an angled channel that would go down into the garage. So I could have fresh, cool intake, but all the exhaust stuff would just dump out of my room into the garage. I thought that'd be sweet. Keep all the heat away from my room. But no, we ended up getting this apartment, and it's definitely not a million degrees in my apartment. It's definitely So amazing doing school, work, and home all at the same desk that's 5 feet from my bed. I have no separation of my lives. I hate it. I hate it. I need an office. I need an office. The worst part is I thought I had found this perfect place. Perfect place. But the owner of said place claims that it is not structurally sound. Now, I brought in an engineer with me. It's weird. It's like a storage place that has like an office on top. I wanted both. I wanted the storage and the office, but they wouldn't rent me the office because it wasn't structurally sound. But I could tell I would already need to do a lot of work to it, so I had brought my engineer with me to talk through, all right, what happens if we replace this part of the ceiling? What's it going to cost to get an AC unit back up in here? Of getting all the wiring stuff done and up to code, getting power in there because there was no power. It was like an office building, whatever, but the power was like connected to some other building, but that had been disconnected in the years since this place has like not been used. And yeah, the owner wouldn't rent it to me. I'm like, you have this place sitting empty. Not troll. It's my girlfriend's. That's my girlfriend's. That's it. I don't know. I guess some people have like jewelry or whatever of. I don't know. It's my girlfriend's. There you go. I live in a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house myself. Nice. Okay. Get in here, guys. We're gonna do some family talk. Hang on. Can I do this? No, of course I can't because my Windows search is broken. Nate, send me that shell script. Okay, guys, get in here. We're gonna have a personal chat. Hi. So, my brother, he lived in the smallest house in the family. And now he's moving into the biggest house in the family. Dude's worked his tail off, absolutely deserves it. He's got a lot of space to like move into, but I also kind of find it funny because he's a little bit of the down there in terms of the verticalness. I love you, Brian. Back to less awkwardness. No, I will say, I have so many comments of people asking me if I'm wearing lipstick. I'm not, but, with the hair tie in recent videos, whatever, I was kind of expecting more like Jack's gay comments. Glad I haven't received them. But yeah, no. Yes, it's interesting though. It's the difference between reality and cameras. So in the real world, when something gets brighter, it becomes more saturated. On camera, it works the opposite way. When something becomes brighter on camera, it becomes less saturated. So as the brightness increases, as you can tell, I've kind of had to crank the saturation, of this. Like, this is what the camera looks like by default. But, so once I crank the saturation, whatever is the darkest is going to get more saturated on camera. That's why my lips, that's why like my shirt gets super saturated, but that's why something like that light doesn't get all that saturated. That's why you can notice the biggest difference in the darkest parts of the image. There you go. Yeah, no, I've started color grading my videos and doing a specific color grade to bring down the saturation of my lips. So that way people stop commenting about the saturation of my lips. It's annoying on the internet. Everyone always looks different in person than on camera. Yep, we like you regardless. Thank you. Oh, all right. Excuse me. Pardon me. Okay, guys. I'm actually very curious. YouTube has given me more buttons to push. And I don't know I don't know how this button works. Because I haven't done a stream since I've had this button. So, I'm going to go to my... You guys are going to be guinea pigs for a second here. We're going to come and watch the live stream. You guys are going to be guinea pig. Okay, great. I'm also a guinea pig now, too. So, we're all guinea pigging. Look, I liked my own live stream. I'm proud of myself. There's an insert ad button. I want to know if I have control of the ad. I want to know what it does for YouTube Premium subscribers. Which, actually, I should pull up my own personal YouTube channel because I am a YouTube Premium user. Shut up, Jack. I'm going to hit this button, and we're going to see what happens. So, yeah, it's this button. It's this button right here. Ad inserted, it says. What's going to happen? It would appear that nothing has happened. Okay. Well, that was easy. Okay. Next thing. Next topic. What should we discuss? I'm going to have to do another video about doing some more planning for the New Home Network. The New Home Network is very out of date. The plans have been changed substantially since that video I made. Gosh, I think almost over a year ago I made that video. So it is pretty much entirely inaccurate. So hopefully get a new video coming out, going through the plans again. That'll be good to have. I may have a sponsor for the whole project, so that'll be cool. And okay, so I have I'm debating talking about it yet. You know what? I have the hardware in hand, so I'll talk about it. Okay. So, I have worked with... I haven't worked with the company. They had, as far as I'm aware, they had no idea who I was until very recently. So, FS.com. They are basically where I recommend everybody get fiber modules from. All the SFP stuff, fiber cables. I've recommended a number of people that I've consulted for. My church, they bought they bought multiple trays of stuff. Yeah, I've recommended FS.com to just about everybody that's ever needed anything fiber. The only thing I don't recommend from them is the generic Cisco 10 gig SFP transceivers, the short range little LED ones, because these guys you can buy on eBay for about $6 a pop versus $25 new. So I just recommend people buy them from eBay. I've bought somewhere around here. Actually, I know exactly where it is. It's in that bin. I have a bag of 40 of these. I've bought a ton of them. My buddy Nate's bought a ton of them. These are great. But for everything else, I use FS.com. And they are the only people that I'm aware that make this. This is an SFP Plus to 10 gig RJ45 SFP transceiver. But this guy can work at longer distances than 30 meters. Almost all of the other ones, the ones that you can buy for like $60 on Amazon, whatever, the 10 gig or the 10G Tech, pretty much all of them, they're limited to 30 meters. And that is a pretty hard cutoff. Lawrence Systems, Tom from Lawrence Systems, he did a full video about comparing these types of transceivers. And yeah, he found that the only ones that worked well, that worked past the 30 meters were these FS.com ones. And I was incredibly surprised when I got an email from fs.com. And they're like, hey, we want to work with you on a project. I'm like, you do? You want to work with me? They're like, yeah, you got anything coming up? And I'm like, as a matter of fact, I do. So they're going to be providing a lot of hardware for the home lab video. So they've already sent me some fiber cables, these modules here, and a number of network patch cables. I wanted to see how their network patch cables, they're like slim ones, compared against the monoprice ones. The fs.com ones are a lot stiffer. So if you're trying to run it under carpet, around like the floor area, that type of thing, probably stick with the monoprice ones. But for anything else, I love the FS ones. They have one that's a little bit thicker than a slim run cable. It's about twice as thick as a slim run cable, but it's not as thick as a regular Ethernet cable. But you can terminate it yourself. So like if your end goes bad, you don't have to buy a specialized connector to fit the smaller wires that you would normally have to on a monoprice slim run cable. Or a flat, oh my gosh, try re-terminating a flat Ethernet cable. I have a cable that's been unterminated for 2 years because I can't re-terminate the flat Ethernet cable. It's a pain in the butt. What was that site? fs.com? I sent you a message on Discord, FYI. Alright, let's see. What did old Tim send me? Or is this the one that I've already seen? Oh, nice. Okay. So our friendly neighborhood, Tim, got a new rack. I'm assuming this is a 42U rack. Let's give him some ideas on what to use it for. Okay, first off, obviously, Tim, you're going to need your head control unit for your 4 disk shelves, your 24 drive disk shelves, because you got to have 96 disks, okay? So that is bare minimum. That's going to take up 18 of your U's. So now you only have like 24 or a lot more than that to populate. So there you go. I got you started. 96 drives. That was awkward. I don't know why I did that. Okay, so we're gonna be actually, you know what? We're gonna start off with a timeline here. I can't just search Notepad because my Windows search is broken and crashes Windows Explorer when I try and use search. Thank you so much, Windows, you giant cluster of garbage. I hate you and I wish you would die. Tim, you're gonna sell it. Weak. I'll put it in the bathtub here in my apartment. It's actually not the craziest thing I've done in this apartment. All the actually, you know what? I'm gonna pull it up here. 2022. Gotta look at my videos folder. 2022 Unify setup guide. Edit files. Oh, excuse me. Or footage. Okay, here. I'm pulling up the edit files for the... Here. We're going to take a look at this. Well, first, let me grab my OBS and move it over so that way I can preview. So this is what I have set up here for this intro. Cool, I'm just going to go over there. I filmed all of those shots myself. This loading animation I designed up real quick. This is the outline of it. Where's the... Okay, here's the access point light. This one was fun. So the way I did this access point is I had the cable plugged in out here. There's a cable running to the access point if you get later in it. I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but there is a cable coming out of this access point. And I just plugged it into my switch next to my desk. And then once the light went solid, I hit play on my lighting animation. I had a pan tilt moving headlight velcroed to, well, it was clamp mounted, then velcroed to the shower curtain rod. And that just did a simple, the light would basically just, the light went like this over top of the access point. That's how I got all of these shots. And then I did a lot of cleanup work. So if I get rid of these black solids and these adjustment layers, and I take a look at some of these effects, what am I doing? Oh, I'm masking it. Mask. Let's invert the mask. You can see the rest of my bathroom. Here, I just have a towel, the light, and then here's the cord leaving. Yeah, so all of these shots were done practically in my bathroom. Oh yeah, there you go. There you can see the cable. Yeah, and then that's the same thing with the Dream Machine. Same thing happening, and then I'm just kind of repositioning some stuff. Yeah, I wanted something cool, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I made that. And now I'm talking about putting a server rack in my bathroom. I'm not going to be doing that because I do need a place to bathe. Okay, let's build out a timeline. Let's build out a MTS timeline. First video that's coming out, Reolink Duo review. I'm not typing. Reolink Duo review. The second thing that we got to drop. Okay, building a new router build. I got this computer. Where is it? I was at a client's house yesterday, and they gave me this computer that they found in the basement. It's a Dell Optiplex 9090, i5 2400, 4 gigs of RAM, although I've put 8 gigs in here. Had a 250 gig Western Digital Blue hard drive. I replaced that with a 64 gig Samsung MLC SSD, and it has two 16x at least sized PCIe slots. So this will be great. We're gonna turn this into a router. I'll actually probably use this for the router of the Home Lab series. I had planned on using this Dell Inspiron that I had, but that only had a 1x slot and then a 16x slot, and so I was limited to a dual port 1 gig NIC and then a 10 gig SFP NIC, which honestly that'll be totally fine. But this guy's a little bit more powerful because it's running an i5, not a Pentium, and I have better PCIe slots. It's also smaller. It's about an inch taller, but it's like 3 inches shorter, so it's not as deep. And seeing as my current, I plan on using this as my router when I'm done with that series. Seeing as my network is basically kept in the little cube in my my closet. Something small like this. So I want to make a video. I'm basically going to throw it on the table, be like, I got this piece of trash from a client. We're going to turn it into a router. Or, I don't know. I'll try and make it fun. So we have a new router build. Next, we're going to do a 3D, in terms of order of release, 3D printing video. And then will be the Home Lab 1 router networking. I'm not typing well today. Home Lab 2 storage. Home Lab 3 application server, and then Home Lab 4 wrap up. Cool. We'll do a wrap up. Honestly, I'm kind of inspired. Okay. So, if you guys remember, the video that started all of MTS, because MTS was just... Well, MTS didn't really exist before I created this YouTube channel. I just did everything under Miller Media. Which MTS isn't actually a company. It's just my YouTube channel name. But, no, so the video that got me started making videos about IT was the video we submitted for Chris's 2020 worst server room video. And I still have all of the hardware from that video because I completely tore it all out. The business went under, so I have all of that gear. I've got the Cisco switches. I actually sold them that server a long time ago. The one at the bottom of their rack. I sold that to them. I bought a pallet of them on eBay, and they needed like an application / mini storage server, so I sold them one of those. So I have another one of those, which one of them, I bought a pallet of them. It was like 12 servers. I've sold all of them except for the one that I'm using as my main storage server, but then I have the one from that awful network site, so I have 2 of those guys. And I still have the wooden server rack. And honestly, I don't know if I should bring out the wooden server rack for the Budget Home Lab series. I thought that could be kind of funny. Be like, and you can do what this client did. It's terrible for them as a business, but as a home user just needing some more or some place to mount everything, maybe not a bad option. So I don't know. I may bring out the wooden server rack. Because, well, one, I also just thought it was really funny. You can make a Plex server with it. Yes. Dude, IT product reviews in the tub. Is that like a new series that we're starting? From the bathtub? That's just what I call it. From the bathtub. Episode 1. Building a pfSense router. Honestly, I want to build that pfSense box just in bed. I want to just chill in bed. Because honestly, my bed is where I have the most space in my room. My room is constantly in a state of disarray with backpacks, products, network cards. I've got HDMI cables and crap. Cameras on mic stands over here. Oh, this is a birthday candle. That's the number 7. Don't ask why I have it taped to a mic stand. We don't talk about that. Yes, no, we can use it as a Plex server, and we will. It'll be running Plex, some form of security software. I'll probably be going with iSpy, or Agent DVR now, is what it's called, I think. It'll be a unified controller, Pi-hole, and possibly an Omada controller, depending on if I go Omada or Unify. I really want to go Omada. Why is it taped to a mic stand? We don't talk about that, okay? Come on, Kira, you should know better than to ask those questions. Also, it's the Golden Ratchet from Harbor Freight. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Okay. So, this should be the lineup of things we have coming in the series. Honestly, by the time these are able to be done... Oh, wait. New home network plan. Conduit runs. Actually, no. I'll run the conduit in this video because I need to do a conduit run right now from the garage because we built a 3-car, or it's bigger than that. It's a pretty big garage workshop for my dad. We built that, and they just did the foundation, and they ran electric, or the conduit for electric and the conduit for or the plumbing. They ran that between the house and the new shop. So we gotta network that. We gotta have excuse me, we need some form of conduit for it. Do you like iDVR software? I've heard of it but never used it. I have a love-hate relationship with pretty much any NVR software that is not that isn't the Synology stuff. The Synology stuff is fantastic, but it can't do everything that I want it to do. At least I haven't figured out how to do it yet. Such as that hunting security system, where you have multiple, you have multiple motion zones that each trigger the PTZ to go to a different preset location, yada, yada, yada. There are a number of things that I can do in Blue Iris that I can't do in anything else, and that's why I moved away from iSpy. iSpy, I prefer the ability to create the layouts in iSpy. It works a lot better. Latency was pretty low in iSpy. Through their web GUI, you're able to export clips. That's a big thing. I can't export footage at all through the Blue Iris web GUI. I'd have to RDP or TeamViewer or something into that NVR build in order to export footage, and I don't want to do that. This is not nail polish. I crushed my finger between a speaker and a doorway. So it's good stuff for the home, but if you're really trying to get the most out of what your hardware is possibly capable of, like me trying to get these PTZs to hunt and then like find stuff, whatever, blah, 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 you're better off with something like Blue Iris. Although I will say, Blue Iris, it's more difficult. It's more of a, I don't know, it's kind of like the Unify dilemma. It's like I don't normally install pfSense for home users because if they ever want to tinker with it, I don't want to give them every single option. It's like if you give somebody 1,000 switches, they're going to mess something up playing with 1,000 switches. Versus if I give somebody something with 2 switches and the rest of the switches are all hidden, they're not going to mess it up. So it's one of those. Blue Iris can do a lot more, but it's also a lot more difficult to set up, a lot more options to jump through, and there's a lot more of a risk of you missing something at the time of setup. Versus iSpy, which is all right. What's up with TP Lincoln and MDNS? I cannot talk about that. I cannot talk about that. But look at my face. That should tell you what you need to know. There you go. Hope your mom's doing better. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the prayers and wishes. It's much appreciated. I use Blue Iris. I'm not excited about it, but it works for what I need at the moment. I'd love to find something easier possible to run in Docker container. Yeah. No, I don't like any of the off-the-shelf. I don't like any of the off-the-shelf NVRs. Because, I mean, like, especially, like, the Reolink stuff, Zeusy, even the VZoom, all that crap, it's all running basically the same garbage software, and they're just a pain in the butt to configure. Well, not to configure. Configuring is pretty easy, but, how are you handling remote access? How are you looking back at past clips? The best system I've ever found for looking at past clips is by far Synology. I can plug in a date range. When I want to export a clip, I can just plug in the time and date that I want, and it'll export. I can export a maximum of 4 hours at a time. That's fine by me. I can just plug in exactly what I want. I have not found another NVR solution that works anywhere close to as well as the Synology stuff. Blue Iris has more features. iSpy is more customizable in terms of the layout and recording schedule. But dang it, Surveillance Station is expensive, doesn't have a ton of features, but the features it does have, it got right. So I may do a video trying to build out this hunting system in all of the different NVR solutions. because I Spy I wasn't able to do specific zone motion triggers. At least I couldn't find it. But yeah, I like the fact that Agent DVR runs as a service rather than as like an application. Blue Iris runs as an application, not as a service. So yeah, it's just kind of a pain getting all that stuff working. Also, Home Assistant. We're going to be running Home Assistant on the application server. I'm going to be having a new video coming where I'm going to be building a new Home Assistant server. Oh yeah, Home Assistant server. That's going to be coming. Here's what I want to do. I dislike saying this because it goes against everything I believe in, but I want to virtualize my router. I want to move away from the little Ace PC that I'm using as my router. Don't get me wrong, it's working great, works fine, but as I do more stuff with VLANs, more security cameras, things like that, I want a faster than gigabit connection to my router. And also, because it's in such a limited, confined space with not a ton of breathing room, it runs really hot. So having something like an actual desktop with much better airflow, that actually has a fan at the front, a good, solid CPU cooler, something I can maybe put I can put a 10 gig card in there, a quad port NIC. I already have a quad port NIC in here, but I could put a 10 gig NIC up top as well. I could go dual port 10 gig. I don't know. I really, honestly, only need one single gigabit port. One for my WAN connection, and then the 10 gig will handle my LAN. I don't need anything crazy. But my thing is, it's like, I have extra processing power left over. Like, I did a test with this guy running as my router, hammering it going VLAN to jumping VLANs. So stuff going from the main LAN to the security VLAN, iPerf test, security camera feeds, whatever. I did not use more than 18% of the CPU on this thing. I have so much performance headroom that's being left on the table, and honestly, I want to have one box. I push the power button on one computer. That's the one system I need to bring online for the majority of my networking stuff. So I want that to be my router, my Pi-hole, any sort of custom DNS server if I'm doing anything more than that, NSTAT, some form of network statistic monitoring tool, and my Unify controller. I want to have all of that operating in one box because that's everything I need for my network. I want this to be a fairly simple setup, but I just haven't messed around with the hardware pass-through and stuff needed for something like Proxmox if I was doing it through that. And, I want to set up a Proxmox server out of an old Mac Pro that I have. Oh, restoring a Mac Pro. Mac Pro restoration. Cool. So we have a number of videos on the docket. Would that be the right word? So we have, what, 10 videos? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 videos. And this should get us... Oh, shoot. I don't know how long these videos are going to last, because the Home Lab series will take a month. I'll try and do one video a week of this series. So this will be a month. This will be the end of August. Although this will start in August. So this will be my August setup. September. And then this will be leading us into October. Yeah. That's the lineup of videos you can be expecting. If you're not interested in any of these videos, feel free to ignore my channel for a while. If you're interested in these videos, please subscribe to my channel. I use iCatcher console CCTV software. I think it's great. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, let's not show Google Drive files and show like my client diagrams and stuff. Please stand by. I'm getting this. Oh my gosh, this is... I have this as a scene. I was proud of that. What am I looking up? iCatcher. Eye catcher and VR. Let's take a look at this. Cool. Let's. Yo, Tim, your security software that you use has a fantastic, beautiful, beautiful website that works so well. I get your smart client. Dude, this software looks like it hasn't been updated in at least a decade. Let's see. When's there? 2015. 2015. Cool. I think I'm going to stick with Blueberries. Okay, I'm going to need a new Home Assistant box coming up here. So I ordered some Zigbee stuff. I have, right now, my Home Assistant, I couldn't get, I have that little Zima board, and I wanted to get Home Assistant, or HAOS, Home Assistant OS, running on that Zima board. I could not get it to boot properly. It kept running into so many weird little issues, I could not get it to work. So what I ended up doing was using a VM image, a VirtualBox VM image. So I have a full-on x86 desktop. It's my old mining rig. So i5 4690K, I think. 24 gig of RAM because the 32 gig, the other 8 gig DIMM died. Yeah, it's overkill for a Home Assistant server, but it's just running the VirtualBox template that they gave you, or that they give you. It's also running my Blue Iris stuff for here at the apartment. Yeah, that's in my closet as well, cooking with everything else. But I need to be able to pass through USB devices because I ordered some Zigbee stuff. I want to mess around with motion sensors, and I ordered a couple like little button things. I don't fully remember what I ordered. Let's see what I have coming. Thank you, AliExpress. Discovery. School is cool. No, it's not. Orders. I have a 4-gang switch thing. I have the Sonoff Zigbee USB dongle. This Toya human presence detection. So this should be using 60 gigahertz to, I guess, detect like micro movements. And then another very small motion sensor. So I'd ideally have. I don't know how well you'd be able to see it. Let's see. Can I get this working? Give me just a second. Testing. Testing. Settings. Audio. Testing. Oh, testing. Okay. Let's go over here. So one of the things that I have set up is I have a little phone on my wall, and it gets powered just through USB in my bathroom. And when I turn it on, it's got just a quick little turn on. I can shut off all the lights, and I can turn them on really easily. And then when I leave in the morning, I can see if the garage door like got opened overnight or something. And it also tells me the weather. So I like this. I want to have this guy set up with some form of motion trigger, so that way it'll turn on when it sees motion. I just have it on like a 15-second shut-off delay, so the screen turns off pretty quickly. But yeah, I then want to have. Oh, what I was gonna say is for my closet, because this is what my closet looks like. Oh boy, Yeah, this is the closet. So we have shelves. close this light. This is my 3D printing setup. 3D printer, and then I have the little IKEA lamp I just turn on. Printer, soundboard, switches, and stuff. 2 Mac Pros. This guy is my Home Assistant server currently. That's the Inspiron I was going to use for the router, but I'm not. But yeah, I want to have on this wall some buttons that I can use to turn on the closet lights, something like that. I just want more tactile controls. I'm a big fan of tactile controls, and I don't like software. I don't like software. That's why I have this thing set up over here on my nightstand, where I have physical buttons for the lights. Now this is just running Companion on a Raspberry Pi that's under my bed, and that's what controls all of this. So, I like hardware controls, I like buttons, I don't like the software stuff. So, yeah, that's what I'm currently working on. But I need to be able to pass through that USB device. And I don't have the ability to pass through a USB device in VirtualBox. So I tried installing VMware on one of the Mac Pros, the latest one, because I have a 5.1 and a 3.1. The 5.1, it was like, yo, we're too old to install VMware. And then the other one it didn't even work at all. So I may be doing Proxmox. I need to find some way to export my VDI file. I don't do a lot with virtual machines, or even Docker for that matter. So I'm still kind of learning that stuff as well. But I need to export the virtual machine, import it into Proxmox, and then pass through a USB device. Shouldn't be too difficult. But what I also want to do is put the USB device inside the computer, because I don't want it to, it's got a big long antenna or whatever. I can get an extension for the antenna, but I'd really like to have just the antenna kind of come out the front while the Zigbee like thing lives inside with just a simple internal USB header to USB female port. I think that would just be pretty cool, pretty slick. But yeah, I thought about doing that on my router. So I would have a box that would be running Proxmox that would host everything. Then we'd have pfSense. We're networking. We're planning things out. Oh, that's not what I want. There we go. Boop. Dang it, Origin. So we'd be running pfSense. Then it would also be running, go away, Origin. pfSense, Home Assistant, Pi-hole, Unify, and what, like NCAP. I don't know what I'd run. Some form of monitoring. I could even have it be like a Linux ISO downloading thing. Linux ISOs. Those of you that don't know, that means torrenting. We're gonna host a lot of Linux ISOs. No, I don't host it, but I do download a lot of things through torrents. Dude, me and my buddies have like a whole friggin' like torrent setup going or whatever for sending files just to each other. It's annoying. It's really annoying, but it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny when it's like, hey man, do you have that photo? And I like convert it to a torrent and send him a torrent download link. That's fun. But yeah, so I'd like to ideally have all of that running on one piece of hardware. I'd use the internal NIC for Proxmox. I'd pass through 2 gigabit ports plus then the 10 gig port to pfSense, which leaves me with 2 network ports free. One could be, I don't know. Honestly, I think I'd just probably leave the other 2 ports unused. Like, I don't have a crazy need. XCPNG. Not a fan of XCPNG. Don't like it. I would use VMware, but they're so strict on what network cards they'll work with that none of the stuff that that's why I didn't virtualize the that's why I didn't virtualize that little Ace PC, was because the NICs weren't compatible with VMware version 7. Sorry, more specifically ESXi. But yeah, so that's the idea. That's what we've got going on the channel. That's what we've got planned on the future docket, I guess. I'm gonna test out this guy. That's what I'm gonna do with this guy. This is gonna be my test little playground for things, because I can do that. I already have the storage server set up, the switch set up, the router set up, and the NVR set up for the Home Lab series. All that hardware and software has already been configured. I need to go through there, write up what all I've done. Honestly, I need to just tear it all down and start from scratch, because at this point, it's been too long since I set that up. I set that up before everything happened with my mom, so that's what put a big delay on that project. And so I need to set it up again so that way I can remember exactly what I've done, so that way I can then go through and do it again in a video. So planning out the networks, I mean, even just what IP addresses we're using. Are we using 10.127, not 127, 17, dude, I'm getting everything all mixed up. Dang it. Yep, that's localhost. 172. Cool. Do we do 10, 172, 192? What do we use for the addresses? That whole thing. So I didn't realize this. I made my guest network here at the house. I made that a /16. I have something like 4 million IPs that can be assigned. Not a fan of that. Oh, here's another thing that I'm doing. So I'm going to be setting up my new network as a you're probably familiar with a /24 network. Now, a /24 is here, 255.255.255.0, meaning I have 254 addresses available aside from broadcast and host. So if you do a /20 network, that is 255.255.240.0. I believe that is the correct. /20 subnet mask. Am I right? It's been too long today that I don't even know if I'm right anymore. Yeah, 240.0. I was right. Good. But if I have my starting address be 192.168.4.1, that would be the start of this range. But now here's part of how networking works. I can't make this a 5. Say I make this network a 5, but with a subnet mask of 20, that is an invalid network, What the network actually consists of is 192.168.4.1 through 192.168.6.255. That is your network. This is the same thing as this. So I have my network. I'm going to have the network set up like this. But this .4 range, this is going to be completely unused. So we're not even going to touch the .4 stuff. Honestly, I'd like to use .4 as where all my VPN clients go. But I can't really do that because pfSense will yell at me if I have it overlapping a range. No. Will it yell at me if I have it overlapping a network or overlapping just the DHCP server range? Anyway, I'm setting my network up to be this. So these are all the IP addresses that I can use. But my DHCP server is going to be 192.168.5.1 through 192.168.5.200. That's going to be my DHCP range. And then what I'm going to do with the 6 range is I'm going to have that be something like 192.168.1.1. That'll be my router. Dang it. This is 6. That 6 range that I still have access to will be... That's how I plan on doing things. So that way everything is technically on one network, but I can very easily know what stuff is my servers, what stuff is internal equipment, what stuff is just a DHCP IP. So phones, tablets, computers, all of that will be put into this range, but without crossing a VLAN, it's still able to access the routers, the servers, all that stuff. So that way I don't have to separate things or create a bunch of firewall rules. The least amount of traffic I can have flowing through the router, the more traffic that I can have the switch handling, the better. So by doing this, I think this is a good compromise for a home. DHCP, I know any address that's 192.168.5. I know that's a DHCP client that's connected to Wi-Fi, connected to the wired network. That is a client. Anything that is .6, that's my routers, servers, Unified controller, all that stuff. That's how I'm going to be doing that. Oh, wait, what? Is it? No, I don't have 4000. I have /22 subnet. It may be a /22 subnet that I'm actually thinking of. Again, like I said, it's been a long day. Yes. Wait. Yes. It is a /22. I apologize. So I will be .252. There we go. Okay. See, these are the things that normally don't make it into videos because I'm brain farting. /22. That's what I'm doing. Cool. Yep. So this is going to be the overall network. This is going to be my DHCP range, and then this is where I'm going to start assigning things out. I already have a spreadsheet that I created of all the IP addresses that I'm going to need. It's just, I need to find a time where I can disconnect everything, go through, give it the addresses that it all needs. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm not really going to have the time to do it properly until I go to actually deploy it in the new house. Because, yeah, I mean, heck, I only just recently set up my security VLAN to actually be used here at the apartment. Before, everything was just on the main LAN. I had the VLANs set up. I just wasn't using them. My guest Wi-Fi has had like exactly 3 people connect to it ever, because most people, when they just hand me their phone and have them put them on the Wi-Fi, I just put them on my main Wi-Fi, and I'm like, no, Jack, I'm not supposed to be doing that. I don't know. I'm too tired these days. But yeah, no, so I'm going to be putting a 250 gig or 240 gig SSD in this guy, so that way I can load it up with Proxmox, virtualize all of my stuff. I tried virtualizing pfSense and then using virtual NICs as my ins and outs, and then I bound those virtual NICs to physical hardware in Proxmox. I tried setting all that stuff up. Performance was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Keep in mind, this was an i5 7500. This guy should be running laps around my current router. I couldn't even break 100 meg on this thing. It was terrible. So I definitely need to pass through the network cards themselves. But I don't know if I'm going to be passing that through as an IOMMU device or IOMMU group, or if I'm going to be just passing through a physical network jack, how this appears to Proxmox. I'll have to toy around with all of that stuff. I don't have any experience virtualizing a router. Like, it's just not something I do. I would never virtualize a router for any sort of production deployment. But for my home, could be really, really nice, especially being able to have one box that is... I mean, I could tell somebody, hey, pick this guy up on eBay. I mean, this is an Optiplex 9090. This thing's from 2011. I would expect to pay about $40 for one of these things. If I could tell somebody, pay $40 for this plus $20 for a network card and follow this tutorial, and that's your Unify controller, Home Assistant, all your stuff in one box, that is one thing to worry about turning on. That is one thing to worry about working. It's one thing. I'm basically building my own dream machine, which I had an idea for. Chris has already done a video on this product itself, but it's the... Hang on, we gotta find it on the QNAP website. QNAP made this NAS that's like also a network switch built into it. Where is it? Managed switches? I don't know what any of these... Okay. QNAP NAS switch combo? Is that what this thing is? Yeah, here. This thing's pretty cool. It's a little QNAP NAS with two 2.5-inch bays, and also a network switch, a managed switch. And I thought about building a custom dream machine out of it, running pfSense. You could have your Pi hole on here, a Unify controller, all that stuff, and then you have a managed switch all as well. And I was thinking about also creating my own little web GUI page that would essentially handle all the redirects for you, so that way you could have almost a Unify-like experience where you have buttons on the side here. So I click this button, and now I'm managing the switch. I click this button, now I'm managing Unify. I click this button, so it'd be like a web browser within a web page type of thing. That was my idea, but keep in mind, I had this idea back when I was a tiny little boy on YouTube, and I couldn't get a review sample of anything to save my life. So I hit up QNAP, and they were just like, no. But now I would very much like to take a look at this project again, because this would be sweet. Because it does have like a GPU slot. I could use it with like 10 gig, NIC, whatever I really need. I don't recall what the switching speed is between the switch and the NAS part. I don't remember what that is. But yeah, that was an idea that I had for a while ago. Because this could be like the one rack unit that you need for your entire network. I mean, a lot of people need more ports than what a UDM Pro offers, but not as many as like getting a really big switch. So if you could get one that's a 24 port, yeah, if you could get one of these guys that's just a little bit bigger, this would be like perfect for most people. And then I could kind of build these out and deploy these for clients as just kind of a nice, neat, here you go, it all works. But now I could have a, here you go, now all you need is a switch and it all works. That would be, I think that would be really cool. So yeah, I wanna kind of put this machine together. I mean, honestly, if I think about it, really think about it, I could probably also do some sort of NAS in this, like a small NAS. This thing's only got one hard drive bay, but I mean, you could scale this concept up. No, you'd want your own NAS. Never mind, like a standalone NAS. But yeah, no. So I'm gonna be playing around with that. We'll mess around with that. I just finished a fairly extensive firewall configuration for a school with something like 15 to 20 VLANs, 1-to-1 NAT, 28 on the public side. Nice. Curious, what would you use that many VLANs for? I'm guessing. Okay, I'm gonna take a guess here. Guess now. Although, I'm trying to think how my school was set up. It used a Radius server for authentication onto either network. Well, the student network, you had to sign in with your school, your student ID and your password. And that was synced across your password that was the same username and password you use for logging into the computers, logging into Google, all that stuff. So it was a synced password. So I'm guessing that would be some form of Radius server for authentication there. You had Radius for the teacher network, although it didn't bring up a web page. It just brought up whatever built-in Radius authentication your platform had, whether you were connecting with Windows or your phone, whatever. I assume internal computers, phones, cameras. Maybe each lab would be, like a big computer lab would be a network. Come on, Corey. Help me out here, man. What are all these VLANs being used for? Oh, the IT guys at my school, they set me up they wired a network jack for me into the back room, the storage room of publications where I had my my little office set up. Except for the port they gave me was a trunk port. I don't think they meant to give me a trunk port, but they did. Building management servers, wired trust district, wireless trust district, printers, staff wireless, student wireless, and access control. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Wired trust and wireless trust. Would those be... Few extra student wireless breaks out into trust and untrust. Okay, so I guess if you're like a school Chromebook, it would go on one network versus like a kid's phone. They both sign in with the same, Radius profile, but it just, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yup, cool, I get that. That's cool. That's cool. Okay. What router did you use? Were you on Cisco? Not Sonoff. Sophos. Yeah. Well, I'm curious. What router were you running? Give me just 1 second. I'll be right back. Ooh, okay. Let's see what we got here. Firewall FG21 or 201F. No. FG201F. I want to see this. FortiGate. All right. Good stuff. Then Meraki. Ooh, yeah, an old Sonic wall. That would do it. Packet fence, nice. And then we've got, honestly, I want to do a video about packet fence. I think this would be cool to do like a video on. Overkill and stupid for a home. Yeah, and then Meraki. Don't you love paying hundreds of dollars a year to use your device that you already paid a crap load of money for because you have to keep paying them monthly? Otherwise, your device turns into a paperweight? Wow, I totally love that. That's exactly how I want to. That's how I want to build out my network. Look at this. This is so great. Nice website. Nice big boy Cisco. Yeah, let's look at what you were coming from. The Sonic Wall NSA 2600. Yeah. Yeah, this would probably be a yeah, you gotta looking for better pricing, get a personalized quote to match your needs. No. How about no? Okay, what's NPS? Somebody. Oh, network policy server. Yeah. Never mind. That's awesome. I honestly want to tinker around with some kind of high level network stuff, higher than home consumer stuff, because that's mostly what I do. That and small businesses. I've done some stuff pretty bigger. I've done some pretty big networks, but I've been the cabling / like wireless person, and then I just like kind of point everything at their own radius servers that are set up by other people. My buddy Nate's gonna sit down and show me how to run Windows Server and everything, because it's been so long since I've messed with Windows Server. Last time I messed with Server was what, Server? I want to say Server 2012, but don't quote me on that. Server 2012. Yup. Windows Server 2012. That was the last time I messed around with Windows Server. I had a rough Active Directory setup going. I had some stuff running in storage spaces. But no, I really want to get in there and play around with it all. The awful UI 2012 had. Yeah, that's the interface that's the interface I know. Although honestly, this is gonna be a bit of a hot take here. I like Windows 8. I love Windows 8. I genuinely enjoyed Windows 8. Now looking back at it, would I go back to Windows 8? No. But I held off upgrading to Windows 10 for so long because I really liked. So I was using an MX Master Mouse at the time. So I had a button like right where my thumb rested, and that would bring up my all of my the start page. It'd bring up this, but you know, the Windows 8 version, not the server version. and that had all of my commonly used programs, whatever, right there. Like it was more at my fingertips than even the taskbar was. Um, yeah, I really liked it. And then Windows 10 came along, and they're just like, hey, you mind if we stick our head in your window 24/7 and like force you to update and all this other BS crap that like still isn't fixed or better a number of years later? I hate Windows 10. I hate Windows 10. Hate Windows 10. Windows 7 and XP. I much prefer Task Manager in Windows 8 and up because it became a lot more useful in terms of like performance, startup items. Honestly, just being able to see like system specs, like the fact that I can, yeah, CPU, memory, each drive, see what it all is. Yeah. No, that was... I like Windows 8. It needed to die, though. I can absolutely agree on that. It needed to die. Oh! I forgot what else. Rust Desk. We're going to be taking a look at Rust Desk and setting up a Rust Desk server. If you haven't heard of Rust Desk, it's basically self-hosted TeamViewer, and I hate TeamViewer. So I use it for a ton of stuff, helping friends, whatever, or when I'm setting up computers and like servers and whatever in the house, and I don't want to have you know, a keyboard, mouse, all that hooked up to it. I can just throw all the servers in my closet or all the computers in my closet and TeamViewer into them. It now thinks every single connection I make is commercial, and it like times me out. I can't connect. It has become absolutely useless. Screw TeamViewer. I'm done. I'm moving away. I'm going to self-host my own alternative because I hate it that much. Now with Rust Desk, you can use their servers as like kind of the median, the go-between server, but you can also host one yourself. And I looked at it. It seems pretty easy to do, so I want to mess around and tinker around with that. And yeah, see how all of that works. I need to get a lot more computers and a lot more space. I have a lot of towers. Like I have a ton of towers in storage, but I just need the space to set them all up. Because like when messing around with Active Directory, like I want to have a client device that I can be applying policies to and seeing how it's gonna work, blah 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 blah, real time. How long does it take for this this change to be applied? XYZ, all these things where it's like I need to have kind of a fleet of computers sitting out and like set up, but I don't have space for it. I have like no space. I have enough space to walk out of my room, to walk to my bed. I can't even get to this desk over here. I mean, like I can reach it and it'd be very easy. I just have to put away these two bins on the shelf that they go on. But it's like my room is constantly like such a project state that I'm going to very much like either one, having my apartment back, or two, having space in the new place. Because talking to my parents, I'm going to have basically a storage room upstairs, which that should be nice, depending on how much I load that up with shelves. So I'm hoping to have that as like kind of my workspace type thing. And then I'll have my desk in my room. Yeah, I'll probably still have my desk in my room. But like all the work crap. The floods of network cables and switches and various cameras and bits of other gear. Because I mean, I don't do IT isn't my business. My business is video production stuff. Now my business has, I say that, but my business has very much shifted to being IT. So I don't know. Say of that what you will. I guess now I'm a professional IT guy. I was talking to my buddy Nate last night. I'm like, I'm not an IT guy. I'm really not an IT guy. I'm a guy that's good with computers. I'm good with computers. that's about where I would leave it. Like you start getting into like Active Directory and all this. To me, Active Directory is like, I understand it, but at the same time, I don't understand it all the way. So it's like, I feel like if I were to dive into Active Directory, I know enough to be very dangerous. But it's like, that all seems so big to me because I kind of got thrown into this IT thing as I've always just done Wi-Fi installation and networking, not any of the new, or not new, but not anything, crazy. I haven't done. The closest thing I am to an MSP is there are 4 companies where I manage their computers. There are 9 companies who I manage their computers. The most computers they have at one of those places is 4 computers. I'm not really an MSP. I go in there, I set up Windows, I like get their stuff working, and it works. Like I'm not doing anything fancy. One of those places has an Active Directory server, and I've gone in there and added new users to existing groups that their old IT guys set up. If they ever have a problem with that, I won't be able to help them. I won't be able to help. That's the frustrating thing, is I won't be able to help them, and so that then gives them reason to look for another IT guy. And I like these people. I like working for them. They're very easy. They're calm. They're laid back, easygoing people. Heck, they gave me a key to their building. So I go in there at like 9 or 10 p.m. when everybody's long gone home, go in there and do my work, and that's it. And, I'll go in there and fix an issue that they don't even know that I fixed until they see me on the security camera, and the guy's just like, hey, you gonna send me an invoice? And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Like, word of mouth is priceless. Yes, very much. You've got a good thing going. If that's something you enjoy, though, it is. I do. Why is did my camera zoom back out? Yeah, I do enjoy the IT stuff that I do. I don't do anything really beyond the basics, though. But it's the same approach that I have to even video production stuff. Am I a sound engineer? No. Can I set up a pretty banging sound system that's gonna kick butt? I can do pretty good stuff with sound. I can do pretty good stuff with lighting. But I am not like a sound guy, really. You could have, if you put me in a lineup of like 4 other sound guys, you should probably pick them over me. But if you need somebody who's incredibly well-rounded, I've tried to become more than a Swiss Army knife. Because a Swiss Army knife sucks. It's not a good knife. It's not a good file. It's not a good set of tweezers. Nothing in a Swiss Army knife is really good. It's a crappy version of all of the things. So I want to be a toolbox. I want to be a full-size screwdriver, big old knife, nice files that you can use for whatever. I want to know enough about sound, enough about lighting, and video is kind of my specialty. I can do just about any sort of cabling job you need, anything with Wi-Fi, switches, that stuff, but I need to get my foot in the water in these other categories because I don't want to be there stuck if something goes wrong. If something goes wrong, I want to be the guy that says, I can fix this. Because, I mean, in my video production world, that's happened so many times. And I'm not trying to sound like, a conceited prick when I say this. But, like, there have been a number of times where I have stepped in and saved the day because I'm more well-rounded than what my job description says I need to be. All right. Oh, it's 3 o'clock. Let's see. I have a... I have to see when my next consulting session is. I may have to go here shortly. My next consulting session is in 30 minutes. So I have about 20 more minutes to be live. busted my knee the other day. It's been very sensitive ever since. That was not fun. All right, what else is up, guys? What's going on? Let's talk. Let's chat. Let's... Oh, gosh. I'm going to say it. Let's vibe. What's up, Cody? How's it going? Good to see you on here as well. Pull up my chat window again. Hang on. Learn something new every day. Good, I try to learn something new every day as well. What's going on, Cody? How's it going in Mac Telecom land? Also known as Canada. I see you've been posting a lot more on the job stuff. That's been fun. That reminds me, Cody, I'm gonna make a special video request. Explain UISP, but as if I'm 5. Canada's great. Good. Good, dude. Okay, so I've been trying to get into... That's another thing. That's another thing I need to add to the video list container here. Explore UISP. Cool. We have another thing on here. Explore UISP. So at the new place, I'm having a line rant me. I'm having a See you, Cody. I need to learn UISP. So I'm having a lease line ran to my new house. And the entire neighborhood runs off of satellite internet. Well, it's a WISP that they run off of, but they have horrible speeds and they're pretty much full. So if I can get a 5 gig lease line, I'll take a gig of that for myself because, yes, please. If I can get a symmetric 5 gig lease line, I can then give people tons of bandwidth in the neighborhood, and all the houses I can pretty easily bounce house to house to house to house. Everything is very linear. So I may have one house that just acts as beam to that house, serve that house, transmit to the next house. There are a few little cluster pockets where I could have that same setup, but it would be transmitting to a number of other houses. But I need to learn UISP because I don't want to be managing the... I don't know the usernames or passwords for any of the nano beams that I have set up. Now, I have them all written down. They're all in a document inside of the containing folder of all that client information. But I remember pretty much every network password and crap off the top of my head, except for the password for the Ubuntu server install that is my current Unify controller. So if I need to update that, I'm hosed. But that's fine. I can download the config file and just reset the whole thing and then just rebuild it from scratch. That's fine. That's what I'm going to have to do. I know. But I don't remember those passwords because those things are pretty much set and forget. I have never had to service one of them. I have never had an issue with one of them. They just work. The nano beams are fantastic, but if I'm doing anything where I'm charging, people money for this stuff monthly, and it's something more important than... I don't use the nano beams for anything crazy. Right now I have the nano beam AC Gen 2s. Like, if you look out in the barn out in Virginia, it goes to their gazebo to give them Wi-Fi out there. If that goes down, they walk closer to the barn, they have internet again. It works. But if one of these things goes down and it takes out that much further of my neighborhood, takes that all those people offline, I need to be able to monitor those things, and I need to be able to control them remotely. I need to understand, buying all of my IPs and getting them all into a router that can distribute them to each of my clients. How does that handoff work? Do I just hand them off the internet, or do I end up being the guy that does their whole network as well? Whether that's through Unify or through the little UISP cubes that Ubiquiti makes. I think they're called Air Fiber. Actually, let's look. We're going to pull up the Ubiquiti website here. So if I go to wired products, and I say, look, UISP switch. Does this... Is this how I shut a client off? Do I shut off port this? Do I shut off port 3 to knock this client offline if they haven't paid their bills? Does that become some sort of automated process? Does that happen on the CPE side? Like how does this crap work? That's what I'm trying to learn. What's up, Diamond? How's it going? Taking a look at UISP stuff and the fact that I'm probably going to spend a crap ton of money just to learn this. I asked Cody if he would make a video of explaining it to me like I'm 5, and he said he would, so thank you, Cody. Uh... 110 watt supply, but okay, see, here's what I don't like. All of Ubiquiti's stuff in the UISP line is passive. So it's like, I know they have, this is an EA product, so I can't really talk about it, but they have a UISP console, which I'm pretty sure is just is basically a cloud key, but for UISP. But I could run the software on my own. And I was working with a guy a long time ago about building out a WISP and trying to figure all that out. But it's like, trying to figure all this crap out for myself here. Like, this guy, I'm assuming, takes in the fiber, gives me some form of like network switch, but also a Wi-Fi access point. How am I controlling that Wi-Fi access point? How am I controlling these ports and VLANs? Does it have to take in over fiber, or if it's a dish on the roof, can I bring it in over RJ45? Like, how do these things work? That's what I'm... WISP control point. What the heck is a WISP control point? Edge point. The first application-specific design WISP control point combines EdgeMax routing features with the backhaul and versatile power capabilities. The point for fiber protect, safely reduce electromagnetic charge. So what is this? Just a switch on a pole arm? Like, these are the things that I don't know. This is why I need an IT guy. Would love to chat a bit about your plans for this if you're ever interested in pursuing this. Yeah, I could actually use somebody who really knows what they're talking about to run through that stuff with. Thank you, Corey. I could probably... Corey, can you do me a favor? Can you shoot... I'm going to put my email in chat here. Can you shoot me an email just that way I have the ability to contact you? I would much appreciate that. I could probably get you the GPON stuff for a discount as I have stuff in stock. Oh yeah, you're in the UK, so shipping would be really expensive. OLT4 terminal. What the heck is this? Is this just a freaking fiber switch? Is this a media converter? What does this do? It's one of those things where it's like, I'm sure I could I know I can figure it out. And I know that if I looked at it for more than 5 seconds on this live stream, I could figure it out and probably be fine. But yeah, I want to learn all this stuff. I want to like this UISP router. Does this go at a client site, or does this stay in, wherever my main feed comes in? What happens if I need more than 1 gig? Because I plan on having a 5 gig lease line, so I would need something beefier. Would this thing do it? I swear this is just 2 switches duct taped together. Come on. I don't understand what this thing is. But yeah, no, so it's one of those like, all right, how do I get this rolling? Or do I need to lol. There's 10 gig, I think. Yeah, I'd hope. Because if not, I may have to split out. Or I may have to split that 5 gig line, which will likely be coming in over a 10 gig SFP plus, Do I need to split that out somehow and have, 5 separate gigabit links going to these UISP routers that then go, and what dishes do I use in order to get what dishes do I use then to get 5 gigabit or 4 gigabit, because I'd take one for myself, to get 4 gigabit to, say, 40 homes, which I can't even search calculator because, again, Windows search is broken. Thank you very much, Windows. Say I give... So, 40 homes divided by 4 gig. That's not what I wanted. 4 gig divided by 40 homes. Everybody gets 100 meg. So I can give 100 meg symmetric service to people. And say I have 40 people paying me at... Let's just say I charge $40 a month for this. We'll just keep everything in the 40s. That's $1,600 a month. So it's like, I could be making good enough money with this that I can really invest in doing it right. But at the same time, I don't want to waste that money. I don't mind spending a lot of... People tell me all the time that I'm cheap. I'm not cheap. I have very expensive taste in things like computers, the stuff that I actually use and need. I have very nice taste in it. Like, I want something that'll perform well. But I don't like to waste my money on things I don't need. This computer was built to be an Adobe Premiere computer. Adobe Premiere, for the longest time, barely used the graphics card. I needed enough to drive my displays, some light acceleration in Adobe, and that's about it. So some light gaming. So at the time when I built this computer, a 9900K plus a 2060... The 2060 actually moved. I got this 2060 Super given to me, so the 20, yeah, I put it in here. Having a 2060 and a 9900K, that's a very unbalanced rig. But for what I built this for, it worked fine. I went very expensive, but I didn't waste my money on something I didn't need. So I don't have a problem with spending a lot of money to get a very good product. But I want to make sure I'm not buying the wrong thing and wasting that money on something that could never be used. Like the NanoStation Locos. Like, could this be used to get to a client site? I honestly think I could probably use this to get to a client site, because I've seen that done. But then you've got these big boy radios that would have to transmit to various places, and I could have a UISP switch split out this multi-gig connector, because I believe these guys can do 1.9 gigabit. So these guys can't even do 10 gig. Hang on, I'm gonna look in early access. Log in. I got Outwood stuck in my teeth. Yeah, I've got a UISP router, UISP console, UISP switch pro, big boy. These are devices that don't exist and you guys know nothing. Okay, there's a console here. UISP console. 2 10 gig ports and 9 RJ45 ports that are all gigabit. Why does the console need that? Isn't the console just the Unify controller of this world or whatever? These are the things I don't understand that I definitely need to understand because I want to learn about this. Yeah, like this big... They have a really big dish in early access that I am quite excited for. Because that would give me the multi-gig that I need to client sites. What do you think of the Access Pro starter kit that we cannot talk of? I've only briefly looked at it. I will briefly look at it one more time. The Access Pro starter kit, that's for an elevator. So if you want UISP to be, you want Unify Access to control your elevator, there you go. That's what I think about it. I was going to stream today in 4K because I can, quite frankly. I have a symmetric gigabit fiber line here to this apartment, which is... It's awesome. It is so amazing. It's on top of that. Oh yeah, that's another thing I want to do. I need to set up a reverse on this build here where I need to do something for reverse proxy, I believe. Reverse proxy, so that way I can do web caching. What I'm hoping that I can do, especially for if I get into the Wisp game, is do caching. Because if I can do my own caching, that significantly reduces the amount of bandwidth that I don't want to do this because I don't want to be an ISP. Well, I'm talking about becoming an ISP, but I don't want to be like AT&T or Verizon or anybody like that where they throttle the snot out of your speeds because they're oversubscribing everybody. That's what I don't want to become. So I want to tell somebody, you're going to get 100 meg, but say something happens, blah, 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 blah. I want to also be able to offer them, I feel like, more. Like if I can get them a gigabit connection back to this web cache server, well then a lot of stuff that they may be watching, whether it's multiple people watching a similar Netflix show or whatever, although I'm pretty sure can I cache things that are encrypted? I don't know. I don't know. This is me kind of brain farting right now on camera, but oh, nice, Diamond. That isn't in EA yet. Tell me about it. But that may be a Discord thing. But yeah, being able to do web caching for people, so that way it's like all my clients can have a pretty easy access to, I don't know, say there's some news page that everybody visits, anything like that. I could even, heck, say this thing blows up, but don't forget about privacy stuff. What are you referring to in terms of the privacy stuff? One of the things that, say I do end up managing the entire, I end up providing Wi-Fi or internet for the entire neighborhood. Well, then I can start doing things that are specific to the neighborhood as a whole, like hosting a neighborhood discussion board, something like that, something that's only accessible as somebody who lives in the neighborhood, where you don't have to have a special username or password or anything like that. Anybody that types in the name of the neighborhood.com or whatever will get automatically forwarded to a self-hosted website that anybody can post in, because the only way you can access it is if you live in the neighborhood and are getting internet from me. And the only people I offer internet to are people in the neighborhood. It's a lot. It's a daunting idea. It's a daunting task. But I'm hoping I can start on a small scale, start messing around with UISP, learning all that stuff. First, I want to learn everything about this router and virtualizing it and all that crap. Hopefully I can have some form of... I can then move somewhat into learning a little bit about UISP. And then from there, hopefully learn about how to be a good WISP. Because it's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to do it wrong. Especially as a paid service. Like, I will set up something jank for myself and be like, I'll fix it later. And the fix comes 2 months too late. But it comes. I don't want to do that for clients. People that are paying me money. People that are relying on me for their internet service. They should not be guinea pigs. So I want to learn how to do it. Learn how to do it right. And then offer that to people in the new neighborhood. So there's a school that's close, and that school is a big hub for networking, or a big internet hub. So for about 10 grand, I can have a lease line. That's digging out. I don't want to get too specific into where it is, but that's digging out a very large area that I would have to go around and across and things to get the signal from said school to my home, but it's doable. And then if I can just wirelessly beam it throughout the neighborhood, honestly, I could probably even do wired stations. So the neighborhood that I'm moving into, there's nothing on an entire side of the road. Now, that points there does become something, but I can likely get people to allow me to use it and be like, hey, if you let me dig under your driveway and run a tube under there, I'll give you like 3 months of internet for free. They don't have to do anything. It provides no risk to them, really, because like I'm handling and having a professional company come in and do it, and they get free internet. So I could probably do something like that in order to actually get my signal distributed through the neighborhood. And in terms of house to house, like client to client stuff, I would very likely just be using the let's come back over here. The gigabeams. Oh, wait, log out. Let's log out of my account. Thank you. Because I've been messing with these gigabeams, and they're pretty banging. I thought about hiding a Ubiquiti AP in my mailbox or on top of my fence post, the corners of my property. That'd be cool. I'm going to need to get some more of the outdoor access points in, so that way I can properly do everything. The garage thing that my dad built, that'll just get an APAC Pro. Honestly, you could probably get an APAC Lite for all I care. Then I'll do probably a big... I don't know. The only thing that the outdoor Wi-Fi would really be used for is because we're going to have like an enclosed like patio space. So I can put an access point up in the ceiling, no problem with that. And that one I can do a U6 Lite or Nano HD or whatever. I don't care. But backyard and front yard. For my dad listening to music or something on his phone while mowing the grass, because it's a very big lot. Good thing about being about WISP is Wi-Fi is everywhere you go in the neighborhood. That's true. My old neighborhood, I had Wi-Fi pretty much everywhere. But no, so if I can use gigabeams, these super long-range gigabeam long-range radio, like what the heck is... I guess this guy is stronger, maybe? I don't know. yeah, I don't know all the equipment I would need, all that stuff. Things become very, very complicated. Oh. Well, this happens to be on the webpage. This guy would be how I would have to transmit to some sort of big distribution station, because this guy can do like a number of gigabits. Or is there a way I can break up the traffic among multiple radios to achieve like a 4 gig throughput, like some form of link aggregation, I guess? Actually, link aggregation. It's a terrible idea, but it could work. Lol, flaw with their website. Yep. What about a wireless connection from the school? I'm doing multi-gig. And at the same time, I want to keep that latency down as much as possible, specifically for me, because I'm greedy and I want it. But no, there's way too much interference. I mean, we're talking I've got multiple houses that would be in the way, a massive tree line, a highway, 2 roads. It's the only way I'm able to get the lease line to my house for 10 grand is because there are already poles that they can run the fiber across a lot of the roads and highways with. That's the only way I'm able to get that for so cheap, which they'd be fine running me a fiber. I highly doubt they're going to let me on a pole that's all their telecom stuff or telco crap, whatever it is, ISP. I don't know. They're not going to let me mount a radio dish. Plus, I also don't want to mount a radio dish. But again, I also need to keep things small because the people in this neighborhood very much care about like looks and whatever. It's weird. It's an interesting place that I'm moving to. It's actually kind of funny how just weird. Person could spend a lot of money. Yes. Oh crap, I have to go. I have a consulting session coming up here. Anyway, guys. Cool, we'll just outro this like a video. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching this live stream. Thank you for hanging out with me, even though I'm running late. I'm hoping to do these a little bit more. You don't paint the dishes as it voids the warranty. Yes, that's very true. An access point I'm a lot less concerned about, but these dishes I do very much care about the warranty and whatever. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys later. I'm hoping to do more of these live streams. This is just kind of a test to get me more familiar with talking to the camera again because it's been like a month and a half. But yeah, I will see you all guys later. Adios.